Is it really possible for a tiny tweak to your morning coffee routine to ignite your metabolism and put your body into full fat-burning mode for the rest of the day?
Check out the link in the video description now and transform your morning coffee into a metabolism-boosting super drink.
Nigel Farage tonight branded a reform activist's racist jibe a comedy act as he fought against the growing controversy swirling around his startup party. Reform volunteer Andrew Parker was recorded by Channel 4 News in Clacton suggesting migrants should be shot by soldiers as they arrive on UK beaches and calling Prime Minister Rishi Sunak an effing P*******. Mr. Sunak, the country's first British Asian PM, spoke of his disgust at the racism during a visit to a school in Teesside on Friday. Mr. Farage branded the remarks reprehensible when the undercover footage emerged on Thursday night, but then decried it a complete and total setup on BBC's Question Time. The 60-year-old said he was dismayed by the appalling comments and has sought to distance himself from the campaigner. The reform leader claimed the activist was simply someone who turned up to help and has nothing to do with the party. Speaking on BBC's Question Time, Mr. Farage branded the shocking incident as a total and utter setup. He stressed he hasn't been leader for long, and had inherited a startup party. Mr. Farage claimed the canvasser was in an alter ego. He added, "This was designed to hurt us, and sadly some people believe it." Asked who he believed paid the man to pretend to be a reform canvasser, Mr. Farage said, "It may well have been the production company, or it's the guy himself who wanted publicity to get more parts, I don't know." Mr. Farage continued, "Channel 4 used a production company which of course gave them deniability. What I have no doubted about is this guy was in his alter ego. I've even found now on TikTok this guy doing Alf Garnett type stuff. This was a comedy act which was designed to hurt us and sadly some people believe it. Let me promise you I want nothing to do with people like him and he has nothing to do with us. He's someone who turned up we didn't know who he was and by sheer coincidence he happened to get teamed up with Channel 4, who he'd worked for in the past." Channel 4 has strongly denied claims it was a setup. During the show, Mr. Farage continued to repeat that it was a setup and a deliberate attempt to smear reform. Writing on X this morning, Mr. Farage had already shared a link to Mr. Parker's acting page, saying this whole episode does not add up. The reform leader tonight continued, "It turns out that the man who did this was an actor. He was contacted by the Telegraph this morning and denied he was an actor. From the minute he turned up in that office in Clacton and I saw him, he was acting from the very start." The reform leader was also quizzed on what he had done to remove representatives of his party exposed for making racist comments. "This was a comedy act which was designed to hurt us and sadly some people believe it." Presenter Fiona Bruce read him racist or xenophobic comments made by reform candidates, including Leslie Lilly, a candidate for Southend East and Rockford, Edward Oakenfool, candidate for Derbyshire Dales, and Robert Lomas, candidate for Barnsley North. But Mr. Farage said that those who have made controversial comments have been disowned in most cases. "I wouldn't want anything to do with these candidates," he says, and confirms he has withdrawn his support from them. Mr. Farage said he has had problems with the vetting company Reform hired, and claims it is clear the establishment does not want him and his party to do well. He said, "I inherited a startup party and in most of these cases, the candidates have been removed. I paid a professional vetting company to weed this out and it wasn't done. Every party has problems like this. I wouldn't have anything to do with them." Andrew Parker has since apologized for the comments, and said he was goaded on, and made the remarks in the head of the moment. Earlier today, Mr. Sunak said he was hurt and angered by the comments and that his 2 daughters had to hear them. He said Mr. Farage had some questions to answer. The Tory leader said, "My 2 daughters have to see and hear reform people who campaign for Nigel Farage calling me an effing P*******. It hurts and it makes me angry, and I think he has some questions to answer. I don't repeat those words lightly. I do so deliberately, because this is too important not to call out clearly for what it is." Mr. Sunak has spoken during the cam.